Upon Russia and specifically upon Vladimir Putin. Russia's Putin, and Putin in particular, Russia pro-Putin strongman, Russia and the Kremlin, pro-Putin in Moscow and the Kremlin. But of course, Putin was not having it. And Putin would Russian forces already, and while Russia, these repercussions for Russia, the main things that were done to Russia, the things that were supposed to happen to Russia, and a whole bunch of things happened to Russia. Russia, of course, close to Putin. Russia and Putin were to stand up against Russia. And in addition to that, to punish Russia for their bad behavior, to push back against Russia. That was the main point and the bottom line with the Russian government. At the time the Russian government was the Russian government, it all sort of looks like a Russian operation over and over and over again. And the basic idea was the same. Russia ought to confront Russia. Putin to do that himself. Russia did. Form a bulwark against Russia. Stand up against Russia. And what Russia has been doing, Russia in Europe, Russia's aggression. Enjoy your flight, Mr. President. To Russia. To Russia. For what Russia did to what Russia is doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but don't worry. I'm sure there's lots more.
And now for a different kind of media story and a question. Does it matter who owns the TV station that delivers your local news?
Okay, a lot to cover. We've got some breaking news. Actor and musician Jussie Smollett from the hit show Empire was attacked and beaten early this morning in Chicago, and police say it could be a hate crime.
Investigators say it all started when two individuals yelled out racial and homophobic slurs. They began to beat him up and then poured a chemical substance onto his body. Investigators say one of the offenders wrapped a rope around Smollett's neck.
Back in 2016, Smollett spoke openly about being gay in Hollywood, telling Attitude magazine, quote, "I get tired of the idea of someone telling me what my truth is."
This is horrible to report. This is horrible to report. This is horrible to report. What else do we know about the circumstances of this terrible attack?
That was false and fake and never happened.
Some members of the national media are using their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think.
Situation rapidly spiraling out of control in northern Syria. 1 week since President Trump ordered U.S. forces out of that region, effectively abandoning America's allies in the fight against ISIS. This video right here appearing to show Turkey's military bombing Kurd civilians in a Syrian border town. The Kurds who fought alongside the U.S. against ISIS. Now, horrific reports of atrocities committed by Turkish-backed fighters on those very allies.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But hate everything, how everything is like all Trump all the time now. Everyone at the network complains about it. They hate covering Trump every day.
We are concerned about Trump and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Turned out to be so false and fake. I think it's a disgrace.
And then you get on the 9 a.m. call, and big boss Jeff Zucker tells you what to do.
Has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
And I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts, and it could be that he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah, if you look at the issues.
Black Virginia girl, black Virginia girl, black Virginia girl. White classmate, white classmate, white classmate. Free white students, free white students, free white students. A Virginia girl recants story of boys cutting off her dreadlocks.
I think it was disgraceful. Disgraceful.
Fake hoax hate crime was fake.
If ratings are up, that means what?
The ratings are up. It means you can't do without Donald Trump. The news media are a bunch of leftist liars who are dying to get the president, and they're willing to lie to do it.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
We have a society in which the flow of information is crucial to a democracy. And when that free flow of information gets choked off by corporate consolidation, we ought to all worry.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Quiet, quiet. Go ahead.
What do you think Donald Trump needs to do to come out on top?
Well, on the character issue, the public, 2/3 or more of the public knows that Hillary Clinton's a liar. She can't be trusted. And now the two faces of Hillary Clinton are coming out. The fact through WikiLeaks that she says one thing and...
Oh, no. All right, let's see if we can get Congressman Collins back. Obviously, we just lost his satellite feed. That sucks. Also interesting is, remember, it's illegal to possess these stolen documents. It's different for the media. So everything you learn about this, you're learning from us. And in full disclosure, let's take a look at what is in there. And what...
Disgrace, what took place, it's a disgrace. No, not you, not you. Your organization's terrible. You are fake news. Quiet, quiet. Go ahead.
Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians.
Russia.
God damn it!
Something really weird had happened that had to do with Russia. And it's interesting. The government of Russia, Vladimir Putin and his political party in Russia have taken a keen interest in Moscow. Vladimir Putin's party with United Russia, which is Putin's party. With Vladimir Putin's party in Moscow. That might be of interest to Moscow. Just ship it straight to Putin and Russia. Russian oligarch. Visiting from Russia, Kremlin-connected Russian oligarch. This Russian oligarch should use Russian money and run by the Russian oligarch on behalf of Russia. Kremlin-friendly far-right political party, a Russian citizen, Russian pro-Vladimir Putin dictator who invited Putin to her wedding to Russian oligarchs. Putin's political party. The Russian government has also been propping up possible Russian support for the funders of Russia. Putin's political party. The creepy American factor in all of this is that all of these far-right, anti-immigrant, anti-Europe parties that are poised to destroy the European Union from within, they are not only supported by Russia and supportive of Russia, they are also being buoyed, and to a greater or lesser extent, they're all being advised by Steve Bannon, who moved his operation to Europe after what he did here for us in 2016.
Steve Bannon has announced plans to spark a right-wing revolution in Europe. He aims to rival the impact of open society foundations set up by liberal billionaire George Soros.
And all of them are supported by Russia in one way or another. And that was a thing about Russia. That Russia thing would keep Russia happy. To make it nicer to Russia on the issue of Russia. This Russian citizen, pro-Russian, Russian dirt, Russian intervention, Russia. Russian intervention in the Russian government's Russian national. Fight off Russian incursions. Suspected of ties to the Russian security services and the Russian government's any Russians trip to Russia, Russian tie to benefit Russia. And we are, also learning more in dribs and drabs We will all continue to describe this dossier from Christopher Steele as unfounded and unsupported, and that is certainly true. And we are learning more, dribs and drabs, every day. That is, as yet, in itself, uncorroborated and undocumented. I mean, sometimes exposing Russian influence over a political campaign leads to the collapse of, like, the whole government. It's amazing, right? It can happen.
I thought that it was a matter of real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here, because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. Now we're looking at that very carefully.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to two American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
To deciding.
We'll see.
About deciding.
We couldn't help her any more than we have.
I know.
You know, I mean, she's got just a free ride so far from the media. We're the biggest ones promoting her campaigns.
Does it matter who owns the TV station that delivers your local news?
6 parent companies. I think there might have been just a merger where now it's 5, but they were at least owned by 6 parent companies. You don't even have to infiltrate all that much to have complete control over them.